Alright, so still chasing down mouse damage here. I'm going to replace this bit of foam. Got the driver's seat in. That side of the cab is okay, but I'm still working in this corner. Got it all vacuumed out, and I need to really give this a good soaking and crown. This wiring's okay, which is kind of hard to believe considering the amount of damage that the mice did to the foam, but the wiring is all good. And they didn't get much higher than the door sill up in there. They chewed a hole, but the main bit of their damage was right in here. So it's kind of sad. Also, I noticed my you can hardly see them there, but the not huck bolts, but the kind of like a speed nut idea that's riveted into the cab corner for the exhaust. Those have been ripped out, so I need to get and fix that, because having it like that's not doing any good, and I'm getting water in there, so I need to fix that before I put my foam in, before I close up this upholstery and bolt the seat back into place. But I do have the driver's seat in. Still need to fix that speaker. Still need to put the upholstery in the ceiling of the bunk, and then put the trim pieces on the floor. I also need to get the windshield washers working before I get it safetied. It has a new valve in the dash there, that one. But you can see the little nozzle on the hood there. There's no hose there. And if I go inside the dash, you can't really see, but there's no hoses even on the valve itself. So that's gonna take some hunting to find out where they come from and where they go, where they are. So it's a bit disappointing. Just threw some chromies on the AC switches there. That little fella is for the suspension, to drop the air out of it. It has run, neutral, and lower positions. There's a 3-position switch, and that really confused me. I've never seen that. It's electric. There, it has a special panel for it. So I think I'm gonna have to leave it there. I'm gonna get a new another air switch like this, and I'm gonna get a air governor for the engine and put that switch right below it, right here. So that way I can get rid of these 2 random switch holes, and that'll clean up the dash. And then maybe move that switch off of there to up here, maybe there, just to get rid of that switch, and so I have everything on the dash. But I'm not sure, because that switch is hooked up to my work lights. But I'm gonna delete a set of work lights because I've got top of bunk and bottom of bunk, and I'm gonna rewire bottom bunk ones up as red and amber lights, always on plus signals. So yeah, also took this tank off. Wasn't on it originally. It was I think a 94 tank. Yeah, it was in really bad shape. There was a rubber hose wrapped around it, and of course aluminum is soft, and vibration slowly chewed its way into the tank, taking probably 1/8 of an inch out underneath the hose where it was rubbing. Would have almost had a hole in the tank, so it was garbage. So I got to clean up the frame rail now. Also, there were no bolts holding the bunk on this side. Once we pulled the tank off, realized, yeah, there's no bunk mount, was just sitting there. That wasn't good. These are lights I'm gonna swap out to the ambers, or red and amber signals. And yeah, gotta clean up this wiring under here too. That looks gross. Do a lot of painting on the frame. Probably paint the auxiliary. Also got the air suspension to start dumping. It was a fairly simple fix once we found it. The little wire here, which goes into this box to dump the air to this vent here, and the electricity hits it. This wire was broken. Scrubbed in on the frame rail in here, so I put in new wires. Got my shock put back on. So that's good. Just ticking off the items for the safety, you know. Still gonna keep my eyes out for tanks and battery boxes. Switch this around to like a normal truck would be. We have to change a flex pipe. So, seat's in. Floor's a mess. The dye came out of a big chunk of this in front. But if I put a mat in there, or maybe a brown rug, or a brown towel mat sort of a thing, that'll cover that. And it'll help keep it cleaner anyway. And I can touch it up later on. Just throw a little more dye on it and actually let it dry before I start working on it. That was a big one. When I put it in, it was still wet, and then sitting in the truck in the wintertime when it's frozen, it never dried. And then I started working on it when it was still wet, and that was a really bad idea. So it was. Gotta clean up the wiring under there too. Make that look a lot better. Wipe all the dust off of it. And I've got to fix my dash lights. They're not working right now. So that's an issue. And I've got to get this foam put in first before I put in the headliner. That box has been hanging for too long. Got to get that screwed on. And the bunk's kind of the junk collection area for the rest of the project. Or for the duration of the project, I should say. I got myself a license plate here. So I'm gonna get a license plate hanger and hang this. Should be cool. My people know what's under the hood. This is all my air freshener stuff I was trying to put in before I realized the extent of the mouse problem. So keep tabs on those little critters. I had one in here. I have not seen any new. I ripped his nest out. He had it sitting in here. I ripped it out in February, and I have not seen any more mouse activity. So hopefully the little fella's screwed off. So, yep. Neither side is working for a fuel gauge, so I need to take those wires off and short them out and see if my gauge sparks or not. Try to figure out what's wrong. This little cutoff hose, I need to figure out what in the world it is and what to do with it. It looks kind of funky. So, another thing is these battery shutoffs here. I am so glad I've had them. I've never had to boost this truck, and it's sat all winter with the batteries disconnected on here, and I've never even thought the batteries were weak. It's just always got lots of spark. So that's a must as far as I'm concerned. Battery shutoffs. Plus, when you're working on something, you don't have to go to all the problem or all the bother of taking stuff off the studs. You just flick those switches and you know you're safe. So, yeah. So, keep working away here. Pretty stoked to have it on the road, but it's getting dark and it's been a long day. So, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more truck videos. Yeah, this one in the cab over. Some driving videos soon. Got a lot planned.